Hello lovelies, I'm Christina and today I'm giving you my September wrap-up. Now this is gonna be one of the shortest wrap-ups I've done in a long time. I only got through 3 books this month. And it's all because of one of them. And not in a bad way actually, but we'll get to that a little bit later. First off, I just want to say that videos are going to be a little bit inconsistent from now on forth. We're about 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks until the due date of our little daughter. So who knows how October is going to pan out. I sure as hell don't. So we'll just have to see what happens. But I'm hoping to get a vlog up next week and also get just a head start on a few book related videos so that I have that ready to edit and to post during the time that I won't be able to film as much. Now let's get into what I read in September. I'm gonna pull out my notes here. So the first book that I got through in September was an audiobook, and that was When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. This is a memoir. Paul Kalanithi was diagnosed at age 36 with lung cancer. He was then at the end of his 10 years journey to becoming a neurosurgeon. This is him telling his story of how he decided to become a neurosurgeon and also how he loved writing and literature. And then we get to hear his experience with being diagnosed with cancer and how that affects him and his family, and also the way that he sees life and how he enjoys life in a different way. It was very interesting to listen to. I mean, it's a heartbreaking book, but it's still a very good one. It's a very good reminder of how we're never sure how much time we have here on this earth and how we should appreciate everything more than we tend to do. So I really enjoyed When Breath Becomes Air. I thought that more of the book would be about his internal feelings and thoughts and not so much about his journey to becoming a neurosurgeon, but it was still a very enjoyable listen or read, and I ended up giving it 4 out of 5. Next up we have the reason why there's only 3 books in this wrap-up. That is The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. This is an epic fantasy journey about Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer is 12 years old and he's sent on this big adventure that goes between worlds to try to save his mom and also his mom's twinner, who is sort of a doppelganger in a different world. His mom is sick with cancer and he meets this man that tells him that he has to travel to this other world to find the talisman, and that's going to save his mom and also save this queen that is his mother's twinner in this other world. I don't know what it is about this book, but it took me forever to get through. It's about 730 something pages, but it's a small book, so it's still a bit of a small chunk. But I don't know. I really did enjoy this story. It's really an epic adventure story, and I couldn't help but draw a lot of comparisons between The Talisman and the Dark Tower series. I don't know if you're supposed to do that. I've done a little bit of research and there seems to be a slight connection between the two, but not that much. But for me, there were some similarities that I just couldn't put aside. So it might be just me and my love for the Dark Tower series that kind of ruined that for me and made me overanalyze a lot of things in this book. The first 100 pages or so are a bit slow but very important to the story, so I would say stick that out. Don't give up on the first 100 pages. I've heard a lot of people do. So after that, it becomes very interesting. You meet a whole lot of weird characters and wonderful characters. My favorite would be Wolf, which I know is the favorite character of many. It truly is an epic adventure story with a lot of horrible things happening to this young boy, and he's often acting a lot older than his age, but then again, with all of this stuff happening to him, it really isn't a mystery why he would act a bit older than he actually was. So even though it took me almost the whole of the month, I think I started reading this on September 3rd and I finished it yesterday on September 30th. So it took me almost all of September to read it, and I don't know why. It could be my pregnancy brain that's just having me struggle to focus on a book at this point in time, or it could be me overanalyzing it. I'm not really sure, but still I did really enjoy this and I ended up giving it 4 out of 5. Now, the last book that I got through in the month of September was a horror graphic novel, and that is Basketful of Heads by Joe Hill, Leomacs, and Dave Stewart. This, I'm just going to read the back as that explains the whole thing really well. So it says, heads will roll. June Branch is in trouble. She's trapped on Brody Island with nowhere to run. Her boyfriend Liam has been kidnapped, and 4 bloodthirsty escaped convicts will stop at nothing to find her. All poor June has to defend herself with is a strange Viking axe with a terrifying power to decapitate a person and leave their heads still talking. If she's going to save Liam and herself, June will have to keep a cool head, or even a whole basketful of them. So that's really the gist of it. You have June, this really sassy character who ends up in this really horrible situation where her boyfriend is missing, and she tries to defend herself against one of these convicts and decapitates his head, and the head just keeps on talking afterwards. So it was a truly horrific but oh so wonderful adventure to go through with June. And this is not for those who don't like gore or horror, because that's pretty much the entirety of this. It's a lot of blood, quite a bit of decapitation, and this brilliant character that walks around with a basket full of heads. Definitely recommend this if you like horror graphic novels and if you really enjoy the horror genre. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's a brilliant read. I end up giving this a 5 out of 5. So there you have it. Now, even though I didn't read as much in September as I usually do, the things that I did read was pretty good, and I'm very happy about what I got through. So there's that. Now let me know in the comments down below what you've been reading in the month of September. As always, I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video soon. Goodbye!